Commissioner of the TRSBA here, Tim Wilshire, Australia Day, 26th of January 2022. Here for a TRSBA Roundup with 10 games left in the regular season. This is going to be a good one, guys, so worth a watch today, okay? 10 games left in the regular season. Okay, so what does that mean? But anyway, before we get to that, we've just got some trade news. So the New York Lions, so let's have a look. The New York Lions traded Anthony Davis to the OC. What did they do?
They do to my boy AD.
That row will haunt my dreams.
Space Jam.
So a big trade here. John Collins was the other part of this trade. He has been playing a bit better in the early part of the year, struggling a little bit more of late. So what do I think of this trade? Well, it's an interesting one. I think it's sort of, it makes sense. What you've got here is the OC wanting to get rid of Bertans' contract. So that's what's been happening. They've been trying to fucking shop this contract around for a long, long time. They could, they want someone who'll be able to take it on, maybe temporarily, and then get rid of it and go for that veteran touch. Maybe they are going to go for it next year when they've got some players that are healthy. But this year, and as we'll see later when we sort of review this, that they probably won't go far in the playoffs this year. But I would say that they're looking into the future, and maybe next year they'll give it a bash, maybe. The Lions, maybe he said he's rebuilding. It's hard to know exactly what Dale's doing at the moment, but are they sort of going for the lottery? Are they trying to get into the play-in? It's hard to know at the moment. The trade deadline and the extension resigning date, very soon, guys. Very soon. It's Thursday, the 3rd of February, 2022 is when the Memphis Grizzlies play their 54th game. So that's not very far away. And they're the first team to do so, I believe. So it's only 1 week away. You've only got 1 week. Ben Simmons. Let's just talk a bit about Ben Simmons. He still hasn't played a game this year. We're nearly 50 games into the season. I don't think he will play this year, but he's just been re-signed by the Tampa Bay Butchers.
Now this is a story all about how my life got turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of it.
So he's resigned, which is, it's not really, I mean, he's 3.5 and a 3.9, a 2-year deal. He hasn't played in a while. We don't know how good he is anymore. It's tough. So let's review the teams as we come up to this extension deadline. Who are the teams that need to still resign players? And we've got 5 teams there that have signed all 11. So far the Butchers, the Hounds, the Saints, the Pens, and the Snipers have all resigned 11 players. We've got the Cows, the Predators with 5 spots available. So still a lot of resigning there to do for the Cows and the Predators. The Boars, Hurricanes, the Lions have still got 4 spots available. So the Boars, the Hurricanes, and Lions still got possibly 4 spots. I don't know if the Boars will go with trying to re-sign up to the hilt, but with their team. But we know that there's some opportunities there for teams like the Hurricanes to improve their standing for next year if they re-sign the right players. Lions still have 4 spots. The Flyers have 3. The Tigers, Dubs have got 2 spots left. So, and the Barbarians, the Red Devils, and the Jags are 3 consummate all-timers in the TRSBA have just one decision to make in the next week as to who gets that last roster spot, if at all. So that's the trade deadline. That's the extension resigning date. So the best, I guess the way it's going to work this year, as voted, we've got a best of 3 playing game series, and that's 4 versus 5 in each conference. So the winner of that 4 versus 5 series becomes the 4th seed, plays the top seed in the round of 8. The East at the moment, it's going to look like the Wolfhounds are going to be at home to somebody. It looks like possibly could be any of the East teams that are left, which is the Cows, the Lions, the Predators, and the Jags. The West does look like a Flyers versus double-doubles matchup, probably with the Flyers at home. So it's an interesting one there. Lottery ball chances. So we've got 6 teams in the lottery. So if you're the worst team in the TRSBA, you have a 9 in 25 odds chance of getting the number 1 pick. The 15th, you've got 6 out of 25. 14th, you've got 4, 3, 2, 1, and so forth. So even if you're the 11th best team, you now actually do have a 1 in 25 chance of being the number 1 pick. So, and that those odds we'll do a lottery sometime, I would say, late May this year. So still probably 4 months away from the lottery. The top 10 players in the TRSBA over the last 2 weeks. This is not that unusual for most of these guys. The Joker, he's definitely ahead of the pack as per usual. Joel Embiid at number 2. Now, this guy's really taken his game to another level of lately. Giannis at 3. LeBron at 4. LeBron has been huge this year. He's been absolutely massive. Who would have thought that would be the 4th ranked player?
This is our little LeBron. Hey, LeBron. Yep. Oh, little French fella. Little LeBron. Yeah, I was against things at first, but the missus here's a real soft spot for prima donnas. Will never be as good as Jordan.
So we've got Doncic. He's been great. We've got Harden. DeJounte Murray, now he's had the massive year, 7th in the last 2 weeks. Booker has had a huge 2 weeks as well. SGA, huge. And Tatum has been massive as well. So that's most of the presentation. Let's sort of get to the crux of what's been happening. Looking at this, just some, we'll look at each game and sort of follow through. So we've got the Hurricanes losing to the Hounds, not unusual there. Let's just have a look and just comment on some of these games and players of recent times. So the Hurricanes, the Hounds are a 500 ball club. They're 22 and 22. They look like they're going to host the 4th versus 5th game, as we said. Let's have a look. They've got Vucevic, Harris, Cam Johnson, Giddey. Yeah, so looking pretty good there. Malik Monk, Markkanen. That's Bridges. I think that's Mikal Bridges. And Harrison Barnes has been up and down like a yo-yo all year. The Hurricanes, look at LaMarcus Aldridge. It's good to see Hunter back. Gallinari, Maximum Derek White, Josh Hart. Can only fill a team of 8, so that's very, very disappointing for the Hurricanes there. So that's the Hounds. I mean, Giddey has been very, very good, possibly in the all-rookie team. But Harris has sort of been up and down, probably been a bit better lately. Vucevic has stepped his game up of late as well. The Lions versus the Tigers. A good win here for the Lions. DeRozan has looked great at times. Booker has looked even better, as we said. Wiggins, Drummond, why is he even on the team? I don't know. He should be waived. Clark, Klay Thompson's back, which is good. Seth Curry, Suggsy, he's going to start playing some well too. The Tigers, Mo Bamba, interesting, he's starting. Sabonis, he's been their best player probably. Has DeMontis. Yeah, Fox, a good game from him, but he's had a bad year apparently. Halliburton, great as well. And Scotty Barnes. So the bench is very, very soft, though, at the moment for the Tigers. They've lost 7 in a row. That's pretty bad. And they look like it is possible that they could get overtaken here as well. They were second for a while in that West. Now, this is an interesting game. Let's just have a look at this. The Jaguars score 240 at home. Usually they should win these sort of games. No, 240. They had Jay Sean Tate getting a career high 37 off the bench. Gordon was playing really, really well. Pirtle. So 3 guys with over 30 off the bench, and they still lose. Big games from Kuzma and Rudy Gobert, but the Butchers, Miles Bridges, far out. 56 fantasy points, absolutely crazy. Imagine if that was less, but I suppose you got to look at the good side of things. Towns wasn't as great, and DeJounte Murray's been better lately as well. So Sadiq Bey 40. So some big performances there from the Butchers. Looking at the Preds and the Boars, this is a very close game. Preds were able to record their 700th franchise win. They got Metu. Come in for a career high 28 fantasy points, the difference maker in the game. Joel Embiid, 66 fantasy points for Joel. Yeah, so that was huge. But Rudy Gay had to start. Beal, a soft game. Caruso, he'll be injured again. Desomanu. So they had some interesting guys. Nurkic off the bench with 34. Yeah, they managed to get the job done. What happened here for the Wild Boars? Obviously, someone was out. They had Giannis, LeBron, Ingram, and Mitchell. Don't know how Ingram can play the small forward position, but that's what they're saying. But they obviously had KD out, and KD being out for a while is going to hurt this team come the playoffs. I don't know if he will come back in time for the playoffs. So that's going to not even things up, but it's going to make it harder for the Wild Boars to win the big games. So expecting a drop off there from the Boars, the Snipers and the Cows. No good win here for the Snipers. The Cows have really been struggling. Garland has been bloody fantastic. 49 fantasy points for Darius Garland. He's definitely a So Garland, he's been great, and that was enough to be the difference in this game as well. Brown Cows, Barrett's been improving a bit lately. Brown's good, Jackson good, Randall. They had 4 guys with did well, but just no bench. Look at that, just fucking went to the shit house. Don't know what's wrong with their bench. They really need to improve. They can't sort of lose these types of games, but they could have won with a decent bench. So that's a bit of a worry for the Cows. The Nerds with another good win against the Flyers. I think Chris Paul has been really, really good for the Nerds. Let's just have a look at the Nerds team because they change around so much. I think Chris Paul's and Harden are still there. So I think these guys playing together in the backcourt has really helped as well. Not sure why Paul's not starting here. He's definitely started Webby. That's weird, actually. Very strange. He's a lot better than Rozier. Zinger. So Flyers. These two teams trade quite a bit. So Zinger was on the other teams. They got Zinger, Jokic, Dort, Dinwiddie, and Schroeder. Schroeder's pretty shit from time to time, but this was a good game. Obviously, the Thomas the Tank Engine was back for this one as well. Bagley has been thrust into some important minutes. Don't know how long that'll last. It won't. That's the tip. Haywood, up and down. Harden and Rozier and Paul. So a good win there for the Red Devils, 27-17. The Flyers with a 20-24 record. The Dub-Dubs with a win over the Pens in the lowly battle in the Western Conference. Dubs winning this one on the road. Once we eventually get there. Time Lord, Robert Williams, The Rock DJ, very good. Bronson, Cade Cunningham, that's probably one of his worst games, but he's certainly going to look better. Double doubles, I won 13 in a row against the Penguins. Where do these streaks come from? And that's just crazy that teams are this close in fantasy points. One team can win 13 games over the other. That's a crazy stat. But I think you saw that something similar with the Jags. Absolutely crazy how these sort of streaks happen. Doncic, 47. Collins, 34, one of his parting games, I guess you could say. Let's have a look at this big matchup. We know the Saints aren't fully healthy. They haven't got Zion Williams, but this sort of matchup is usually big when it comes to you know, if these teams meet in the playoffs and they're all healthy.
I'm the champion against the challenger. The irresistible force meeting the immovable object.
Bam Adebayo is back. 25 fantasy points for Bam. Siakam 40. Been huge lately, Siakam. He's been massive. Tatum has been massive. No need to say that. Curry, this guy, he's people reckon Westbrook can't shoot, but this you know, he's not been able to hit shots either.
Couldn't hit water if you fell out of a boat.
That's the sort of consensus on Curry. He shot 38% over the last month from the field. Very not what he's used to. Van Vliet, he's in there now because Lillard's going to be out for a while. So Lillard missing for the Barbarians. Is it as big a blow as KD missing from the Bulls? Probably not, but it's still a huge loss. It's interesting to know how this team will all pull together. Levert, a big game. That was the game that he smashed one of those teams. Simmons will pick up the slack from Lillard to a degree. Horford's been disappointing of late, considering he started the season out so well. So yeah, that's sort of just getting into the Barbarians, just getting ready for that first round playoff matchup. Young has been huge. Morant has been huge. SGA has been huge. That's a 3-guard lineup that has been massive. I guess it's been difficult to work out who to put at. Ayton's been out for a while. Williamson's been out. Porter's been out. That would be your usual starting front court. But Mobley and Anunoby is not so bad. I mean, he's been a hero off the bench. 31 fantasy points for him and cousin Kev. The hero. Trae Young, they've got to play this. I know we're all in the young years at the moment. So that's 258, 214. If we just have a quick look at the standings. The Bulls have got enough of a lead now. I think they should be the best seed in the, Alabama should win the regular season in the Eastern Conference. Yep, the Butchers look like they're getting second. The Red Devils quite clearly in third spot. Fourth spot definitely looks like the Wolfhounds, and it's just a battle there. The Jaguars are on the bottom at the moment. Predators, Cows and Lions all have a worse average percentage than the Jags. It all depends how these teams come home in the last 10 games. Barbarians, a nice 11-game in front of the Saints. The Saints have a losing road record, 10-13, so there's some realistic stuff going on in the TRSBA. Not a good road team, the Saints. But the second best average in the Western Conference. The Tigers have slipped a bit. They've lost quite a bit of late. Flyers are starting to come up a bit. The double-doubles are in there. I'd say the double-doubles should stick ahead of the Penguins, but there's only one game in between those teams at the moment. But there's a huge gap in average, like 20 fantasy points. So you'd expect the double-doubles would be unlucky not to make the play-in game, but anything can happen. We know the Snipers are going to end up with the highest odds of getting that number one pick, probably that just under 40% chance for those guys. That's what's looking like happening for them. They've had they started out massive amount of losses, and then they managed to accumulate some wins. Hurricanes probably most likely going to get the second highest percentage in that as well. So that's there we go. That's another TRSBA wrap up. Your Australia Day wrap up. Go Richmond Tigers. Very disheartening about those Buffalo Bills the other day. With 13 seconds to go, you'd think we'd fucking won the game, but fuck. Patrick Mahomes, Jesus Christ. 13 seconds he can get up the field and the kick a field goal. Come on. I mean, how does that even real? I mean, it's not, it can't even do that on a computer game, surely. That's crazy. Anyway, that's been another TRSBA Roundup. If you've got any questions, just let us know.